And we're on. It's Tom Cassidy. This is the Reasonable Wealth Project. This is week 12. Give the impression of increase. And I'm so fired up about this week. I really am. This is when I first read the book about 4 years ago, maybe. This is the chapter that I thought was the most exciting for me. I just thought, oh my goodness, yeah. Impression of increase is the one I got immediately. It's the one I thought above all the others, above gratitude, above thinking in a certain way, above acting in a certain way. It was chapter 14 and chapter 15. Those are the two focus chapters for this week that really clicked. It was, yeah, it seemed so obvious. And basically, I'm just gonna summarize what this is all about, the impression of increase. And this is, everyone is trying to get more in their life, more joy, more love, more peace, more balance, more awareness, more wonder, more excitement, more anything. And I think a couple of weeks ago I was talking about this, but this does not happen. I didn't decide to go out with Cindy, and we eventually got married, because I thought that would bring less to my life in some way. No one does this. You're not out, at a nightclub, and you think, oh, look at that girl over there. She looks like she could bring less to my life. Yeah, I think I'm going to hang around her. Of course not. Everything is geared about more. And even though we've been perhaps led by our puritanical forebears to think that more is bad, more is not the same as greed. Greed is bad, but more is a very natural desire. It's the natural essence of evolution and of love and of the culmination of humans' interaction with our environment. So wanting more is a very, very natural thing, and you will only bring success into your own life as a result of giving this impression. Because unless your idea of success is to live on a mountain and interact with nobody at all, and it could be that you'll do that, and all you want to do is go and live on a mountain and achieve enlightenment. Now that's fine. The universe might have other ideas about how fine that is. The universe might say, well, you know what, that's not that amazing. I gave you a lot of talents and all you did was bury them in the ground. You achieve it. Let's go on the parable of the talents for a second, and let's think about this idea of enlightenment, an idea of self. What did the guy who buried the talents actually think of? He was kind of worried about stuff, but he was also thinking about himself. He was thinking about making sure that what he had remained. Okay, so it was very much a self-centered approach. So the individual who actually decided to invest and use those talents and actually bring more to the universe, bring more to everybody, was the one who was rewarded. You are an investment. You have been invested in. It took flipping billions of years to produce you today. Listening to this video, there's a lot of investment from the universe there, the design of the cardiovascular system and all that sort of stuff, and the neurons, and there's probably a few attempts that didn't quite work out so well, and that's the whole species. And then when you think on the 1 in 4 million probability of the actual sperm from your father being released that had the DNA component that makes you up, you are essentially an incredible miracle. I know you know this, but I'm not saying that for that I'm not saying for the purpose for you to feel good. I'm saying that you are an incredible miracle, and you know what? You got to do something about it. Parable of the talents, whether you're biblical or not, doesn't make any difference. It's like the universe has invested in you, and it's your job to give back for yourself and for everybody by bringing more life to all. Not through charity, not through helping other people, not through being a servant or being a martyr, but through bringing more life to all. And how you fundamentally do this is in every interaction you have, you need to give the impression of increase. And it's pretty simple how to do it. Wattles the genius has already shown us how in chapter 14 and 15. And we did a couple of weeks ago, we did a little bit on chapter 14 when it was the idea of more life to all, and then give more in use value than you take in cash value. And part of that is the impression of increase. But there's a lot more to it. So we're going to go and spend another week on this one, chapter 14. I'm going to have a look at that now, the impression of increase. I just get so excited this one because it's so simple, and you know what, it's so different from what everyone else is teaching. So anyway, Skip through the first bit. Okay. The desire for increase is inherent in all nature. It is the fundamental impulse of the universe. All human activities are based on the desire for increase. People are seeking more food, more clothes, better shelter, more luxury, more beauty, more knowledge, more pleasure, increase in something, more life, and all the other things that we talked about already. Every living thing is under this necessity for continuous advancement. Where increase of life ceases, dissolution and death set in at once. Is there a single tree that has ever existed that has said, you know what, I'm quite happy not producing any seeds? I'm quite happy, well, there's enough, I don't know, there's enough oxygen for maybe me and a few other trees, and that's about it. I'm not going to bother having any more seeds. We're done. No. Not at all. Every single thing that exists, that's how you know if something is alive, because it wants to make more of itself. That's kind of a fundamental characteristic of life from biology. It's what all women and men are seeking. It is the urge of formless intelligence within us seeking fuller expression. So that's very interesting. So, what you're going to do, why this works so well, is you're going to tap into that subconscious genetic DNA. It's in the DNA that allows us to have existed this far and have brought us to today. So it's encoded in the DNA, this desire for increase. So you're going to be in resonance with that if you give it. Right. So he then talks about the power of the talents, and this is the normal desire for increased wealth is not an evil or a reprehensible thing. It is simply the desire for more abundant life. It's aspiration. And because it's the deepest instinct of their natures, all men and women are attracted to him who can give them more of the means of life. Huh. Now, if you do everything in the book so far, which is basically all the other focuses and all the other things in the preceding chapters, as he says, in following the certain way, as described in the foregoing pages, you are getting continuous increase for yourself, and you are giving it to all with whom you deal. You are. You are a creative center from which increase is given off to all. Now this is like, whoa, really? Yeah, okay, so I am a creative center. We are all the same. The intelligence that is in me is the same as the intelligence that is in you, that is in God, that is in the planet, that is in everything. We're all made of atoms, and we're all organized in incredibly complex ways. We're all subject to the principles of physics. That intelligence, the principles of physics that literally bind us together. And that at the metaphysical level, if we've got this ability to create and we're all the same, then we have all got the same ability to create. So you're a creative center from which increase is given off to all. Now, this is really interesting. Be sure of this and convey assurance of the fact to every man, woman, and child with whom you come in contact, no matter how small the transaction, even if it be only the selling of a stick of candy to a little child. Put into it the thought of increase and make sure that the customer is impressed with the thought. So you are thinking you can bring more to people's lives by what you do. Everything you do brings more to other people's lives. Convey the impression of advancement with everything you do, so that all people shall receive the impression that you are an advancing man or woman, and that you advance all who deal with you. Even to the people whom you meet in a social way, without any thought of business, and to whom you do not try to sell anything, give the thought of increase. That's interesting, isn't it? So, you need to basically always be manifesting in others this whole idea of increase. Now, how do you do it? The answer is right here. You can convey this impression by holding the unshakable faith that you, yourself, are in the way of increase, and by letting this faith inspire, fill, and permeate every action. Do everything that you do in the firm conviction that you are an advancing personality and that you are giving advancement to everybody. Feel that you're getting rich, and that in so doing you are making others rich and conferring benefits on all. Do you think that I think I'm doing a good job? Do you think that I think I'm doing a good job because I'm, proud of myself and all that sort of stuff? Or do you think that I think that I'm doing a good job here because I'm genuinely advancing everybody? I'm conferring benefits on all because I'm making you guys rich. You follow this program, you won't be able to avoid being rich. It's inevitable. And it'll be reasonable wealth, which is the creative plane wealth, which is stupidly exciting when you think about it. Anyone can get rich and make money in the competitive plane. A lot of people are saying, well, you know, I'd just like to have that problem. I kind of like to just have money. You know, let me deal with whether it came from the competitive plane or not. That you're here for a reason. You're today listening to this. You're part of this program for a reason. And it's because it didn't resonate with you the other way of doing it. You are not where you want to be now because it's always seemed wrong to you to do it in that way. It's always seemed like it was either the competitive plane, which you eschewed, you didn't want to have anything to do with, or to be poor, because you would just have to be a martyr and just be nice to people and kind of be that sort of hippie type person that just didn't, you know, was artistic or whatever, but just couldn't actually create any wealth. So it's only because of that sort of cognitive dissonance between what you kind of thought was the way to do things and what you felt was right for you. Now you've got the opportunity to look. If you go about giving the impression of increase, believing that you are bringing advancement to everybody and that it's your responsibility as this collection of energy and molecules to return the investment the universe has given to create you, I mean, that's like a golden ticket. That's like Willy Wonka, Charlie the Chocolate Factory. That's the golden ticket. That's the ticket to just be awesome and to give everyone an amazing life. Exciting stuff. Now, don't boast or brag of your success or talk about it unnecessarily. True faith is never boastful. So basically what you do, I'm not going to go into that too much, but essentially just let every act and tone and look express why assurance that you're getting rich or already rich. Not be necessary to communicate this feeling to others. They will feel the sense of increase when in your presence and will be attracted to you again. You know, simply feel the faith and let it work out in every transaction. I love that. You must so impress others that they will feel that associating with you, in wanting to be, they want to grab onto your coattails. They just want to follow you to the ends of the earth because they'll get increase for themselves. You know, and see that you give them a use value greater than the cash value you're taking from them. Right, okay. So people will go where they're given increase, and the supreme, which desires increase in all, and which knows all, will move towards you, men and women who have never heard of you. Your business will increase rapidly, and you'll be surprised at the unexpected benefits that will come to you. You'll be able from day to day to make larger combinations, as an old-fashioned way of saying, you know, get stuff going for you financially, secure greater advantages, and to go on into a more congenial vocation if you so desire. Right, and then he talks about motives, and he says, be careful, just be careful. I think this is just one thing. I'm not going to say too much of this, but in general, let's avoid the desire to have got it sorted and to be a guru. And I was talking about this in the WhatsApp chat groups yesterday, actually. You know, I've got no desire for other people to think that I'm any better than they are, and that all they need to do is be like me. I'm as great as the greatest, but no better than anyone else. I see us as all equal. I see myself and my role as a god among gods working amongst the angels to bring this world to completion, rather than, hey, just follow me and your life will be amazing. So I have the challenges and I have the joys and the excitement. You know, I'm on this same journey too. Whenever I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. I listen to this stuff. I listen to these chapters of the book all the time, you know, several times a day when it's a particular focus. So this is really interesting. Be careful. Nothing is so pleasant to the unformed or partially developed mind as the exercise of power or dominion over others. The desire to rule for selfish gratification has been the curse of the world. And this is interesting. I'm not talking about, you know, the desire to populate the world with your people and to fight anymore, because those times have gone, but still the main motive in the business and industrial world is the same. Men marshal their armies of dollars and lay waste the lives and hearts of millions in the same mad scramble for power over others. Commercial kings, like political kings, are inspired by the lust for power. And this really came, and Jesus talks about this in chapter 23 of Matthew. And I know a little bit about the Bible. I was brought up a Catholic, but I'm a big fan of Jesus because he tended to speak with great wisdom. I think Christians themselves tend to muck it up a little bit, and not through their fault, but through the script and the stewardship, the desire to organize. But basically, what Jesus is saying in this bit is, look, the lust for power is the same that the Pharisees lusted for, and they wanted to be called master and to sit in the high places and to domineer over others and to lay burdens on the backs of the less fortunate. Basically, he said, look, the Pharisees were good people, they were righteous people, they were following the law, they were doing everything in the according to the letter of the law, they were righteous, and they were just doing good, basically doing a lot of quite good stuff. But they loved it, didn't they? They just loved it. They just wanted to see themselves as slightly better than other people. And as the one, they wanted to get praise from men for following the path. They wanted to be lauded and celebrated and adulated because they were like doing it. So they wanted that fame and fortune and essentially the power to have other people thinking. They wanted other people's metaphysical powers. And that's a bit subtle, but what really, if other people are investing in you a sort of slightly higher status than themselves, they are basically giving you their metaphysical powers. And that's obviously a very seductive thing. And so the desire to rule for selfish gratification is this is something that the partially developed mind absolutely loves. So look out for that in this impression of increase. Look out for the temptation to seek for authority, to become a master, to be considered as one who is above the common herd, to impress others by lavish display and so on. Because the mind that seeks for mastery over others is the competitive mind, and the competitive mind is not the creative one. So in order to master your environment and your destiny, it is not at all necessary that you should rule over your fellow men. And indeed, when you fall into the world's struggle for the high places, you begin to be conquered by fate and environment. You can still be successful, but you'll be conquered by fate and environment. Some of you will, as a result of being conquered by fate and environment, do quite well financially. Some of you won't. But your getting rich becomes a matter of chance and speculation. I love it. Now, let's just sum everything up with, look, this is how you should think of other people. This is how you give the impression of increase. This is what you do. It's subtle, but it's right in the last, it's the last phrase in chapter 14. What I want for myself, I want for everybody. When you look at somebody walking past them in the street and you don't know them and you don't care about them really, you should want for them the same thing that you want for yourself and for your own family. You want joy and love and success and happiness and contentment and peace and poise and all these wonderful things. And you want them for your children and you want them for your partner and you want these great things for the people that you know, but not these people that are waiting for a bus, or not these people that vote for a different party, or not these people that support a different football team, or not these people that have got guns because you don't think guns are good, not these people that eat meat because you don't think eating meat is good, right? It's incredible how easy it is to judge people. Now, what's really interesting is we're taught in the Christian Bible, we're taught not to judge people lest you be judged. Okay, that's interesting. And then you're taught, do unto others the way you would have them do unto you. Again, that's interesting, but that's, for me, that doesn't go far enough. I like the line, I don't know exactly where it's from, so anyone who's an expert in Islam can tell me. But I believe that the Prophet Muhammad, I know he said this, I'm not sure where he said it, was that none of you truly believes until he wants for his brother what he wants for himself. So the closest religious teaching that is actually is closest to what Wattles is saying in the monastic tradition is, you know, what I want for myself, I want for everybody. None of us truly believes until we want for everyone what we want for ourselves, till we want for our brother, you know, our common fellow human, what we want for ourselves. That's a great question to ask yourself this week. Am I genuinely really wanting for other people what I want for myself? You know, even when I'm talking about wanting more life to all, do I want that in a vague way? Do I want just everyone to be happy and kind of nice? But I want to be kind of cool and like an instigator and to bring this and be like, you know, kind of like on it and one of the leaders and all that sort of stuff? Or do you genuinely want the same things for yourself that you want for everybody? That's a great question, because I think pride It's a massive one. I remember, when you go to university, you want to have the cool poster in your room that no one else has got, right? But why? Because you want to be cool, you want to be significant, you want to be different, you want to set yourself apart from the herd. But in that wanting to set yourself apart from the herd, you are basically inflicting upon everyone else a different desire for what you have for yourself. Because you say, I want to be different, I want to stand out, I want to be significant, I want to be cool. I want to be different from you. I want to be different from the herd, the everyone else. I don't want you to all be different. I want to be different from you. I want people to think I'm cool. Very interesting. So anyway, what I want for myself, I want for everyone. Is that really true, or is that, that's a great question to be asking ourselves this week. And then I've only got a few minutes left, but I think chapter 15 is worth bringing a couple of points out from. And he's talking about, this is, chapter 14 is really for people who are in business, but chapter 15 are for everyone else. Everyone else we're all, basically we're all teachers. We are all teachers. We can all be leaders and we can all be the example. When we say leader, we're not leader because we're better than anybody, we're leader because we are being the example. And he talks about whether you're a physician or a clergyman or a teacher or a preacher or an insurance salesman, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is really where it gets interesting. So I'm going to talk about this. I don't want to spend too long on this because I think you can get into this. But essentially, what you've got to do is you've got to do all the work that you can do every day and do each piece of work in a perfectly successful manner, putting the power of success and the purpose to get rich into everything that you do. And don't do this with the idea of carrying favor with your employer in whatever situation you are. All you need to do is be doing it because it fits in with your vision. Right? You just need to have a vision for yourself that you are an advancing person. Chapter 15 is the advancing man. The advancing person, you've got to believe that you are getting closer to the complete realization of your potential. You are getting better at returning the investment that the universe has spent billions of years putting together. And so what I really want you to do is I think it's like what we realize that the advancing man that you can be can happen every single day, even in your current job. You don't have to do some exotic business. You don't have to create your own course. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to be the guru. You can be the example in your current job, not just more than filling your current place from an earlier chapter, but doing it with the view that you are working as a god among gods, working amongst the angels to bring the world to completion. It's kind of a big deal, right? But you are, everything's perfect, but improving. There's no greater joy than you realizing that you are, or noticing that you're getting better at something and developing and getting closer to your vision, incrementally, marginally. Just think where you were 12 weeks ago, right? You really are. By being in this program, you are an advancing personality. And how you do that is you believe that you are an advancing personality. You see yourself coming closer and closer to your ideal vision for yourself. You know what? This is a lovely thing down the bottom. Do not wait for an opportunity to be all that you want to be. When an opportunity to be more than you are now is presented and you feel impelled towards it, take it. It will be the first step towards a greater opportunity. So, you don't have to necessarily go straight to the vision. This is what I say, should I do this? I'm going to produce a whole series of visual algorithms which will tell what should I think, what should I do, what should I believe, what should I say, all these things. And what you should do is, you should do stuff if it gets you closer to your long-term vision. So will doing this get me closer to my long-term vision or further away? And if it's going to be closer, you do it. If it isn't, so you say, well, this isn't perfect, but it's getting me closer to my vision. Great, do it. If you're not sure, you're only not sure because you don't have enough clarity on what your actual vision is. So it's a really nice framework, Let's say this is all about the incremental, the advancing personality. It's you can do tomorrow, you can do things tomorrow that will bring you just a little bit closer to your ultimate vision in your current job, in your current business, in your current whatever it is. So, in summary, this is awesome. Chapter 14 and 15, they're really nice, beautiful chapters. Want for everybody what you want for yourself. That's an out and about one when you're walking around. Give the impression of increase by knowing that you are increasing yourself and giving the impression of increase in every exchange. Every time you talk to anybody, know that you are bringing greater life for them as an individual. Know that you're bringing it to yourself. Know that you're bringing it to them. And then believe that you can do things marginally. You can do things incrementally. Essentially, the advancing man is actually the precursor for marginal gains. You know, you don't have to get it all sorted in one big go. You know, you can just, the first step toward a great opportunity is something that you can take. Anyway, that's it really. I mean, I love this stuff. I always sign off by saying I love this stuff. You couldn't pay me not to do this stuff. If you paid me not to do it, I would still, I'd still do it. It's just wonderful, and getting super excited about where we're going. Sam and I have been working really hard on developing the app. There will be a Reasonable Wealth app. It will have all this kind of stuff on it, built in it. It'll be like, the idea is like fantastic. You will have like the WhatsApp experience, but you'll have like Tom on your phone with the reminders and all that sort of stuff. Still the ability to talk to me and to have a chat group going as well. But you'll have all the algorithms and everything built in and the constant reminders there. You'll be able to control the frequency of interactions. So some people don't like getting lots of messages on WhatsApp, right? Some people wouldn't appreciate being reminded 10 times a day. Others would. So you'll be able to control the intensity at which the reminders come. You know, to a minimum of just once a week, whatever the week's focus is, right down to probably maximum of once an hour for the lunatics. We're really excited about it. It's going to be big. It's going to be stupidly big. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now because I'm going to go and watch the USA game. USA playing Portugal, and USA are still in the World Cup. England, my team, got knocked out. One of our au pairs supports Spain, well, she's Spanish. They've been knocked out. France is still doing okay. The other au pair is French, and then of course Cindy is American, and actually she's not. She's Texan. They don't sort of really see themselves as American. They say they're Texan, but she of course supports the USA when she can, and of course my kids are half American, half from the US. So I'm going to rapidly support the USA now as the only interest. Hopefully they'll do Portugal, and that's it. We're all done. This is amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm not going to take any questions on this one, and I think that all you need to do this week, chapters 14 and 15, and see you in the chat rooms of the world. Have a wonderful week.